there. Can you please pass on the message to the batch?
Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3.
It's a humble request to please silent your phones and please do not stand up when the guests come. It will be a chaos. If your friends are standing outside, please do not crowd the area. Please ask them to move to OAT. Live streaming will start soon.
और शाश्वत भी होगा और मेरे को फोन कर बाहर आया
We are expecting our guests to arrive in 5 minutes, guys. Please settle down.
यहाँ पे ही ना होने के बाद में बढ़ जाएगी। एक बार
मैं सेट कर लूंगा
जो
तो मैं
करके
बैठ
छोड़ना भी बाद में
हाँ।
दूसरे आदमी के देखने के लिए। ओके
Requesting everyone to kindly settle down and switch off your mobile phones. Sorry.
So is this where we shot that Balatkar Chamatkar scene? Yeah. Same hall. Yeah, I was looking familiar.
ಆ ಕಡೆ ಹಿಡಿ ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಫೋಟೋ ತೆಗೆದ್ರೆ ಸರಿ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಿಮ್ ಕಡೆ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ Yeah. Can we have people settling down, please? Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Mohit, maybe we can get some people to sit here in case there is. Yeah. Let's just fill up every place. Maybe there would be a few more people who can come in then, right? Yeah. Hey, next to you, make sure that there is no empty seat. Yeah, I think it's fair that others who are outside should get a chance. Yeah. Okay. Are we good to begin? Great. Okay. At the outset, welcome to IIM Bangalore. And again, welcome to IIM Bangalore.
You know, I have to say, at the moment I drove into the driveway, you know, I was feeling so nostalgic. And I think we were staying here for more than a month, 2 months, I think we were here. And we were staying on campus. So I have such fond memories of all the nooks and corners where we used to do naughty things. But how many of y'all were there at that time? That was 10 years ago. Any students still around? Chalo. That's good. That's good. Everyone cleared. Glad to be back here.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to place this panel in the context of the larger vista, which is the Management Fest for which you are all here. So the next hour, we are going to kind of harness the power of the three people who are here on the stage to be able to deepen our learnings at the Vista. The specific focus for this session, I thought, is what can future managers learn from artists? Our two worlds rarely meet, and yet many times as leaders, we have to behave like artists. And artists more and more need to know management in many ways that we may not think of. Yeah. So at this cusp, I believe there is some transdisciplinarity in terms of learning. All of you who have studied organizations, you know that the vocabulary that we use, performance, roles, expectations, every single one of them has been borrowed from performing arts. So it's kind of interesting that we use the vocabulary from a performing arts context in a completely different context. What are the challenges? What are the opportunities? And what does it mean for each one of us? Okay. So what we will try and do today is just understand the experience, lived experiences of the three artists to gain insights into our future managerial roles. Okay. On that note, I have 3 housekeeping requests to make. Yeah. First and the most important one, please switch off your mobile phones or at least put them on mute. We don't want that distraction. Yeah. And definitely I can say that for me, because many of you who have seen me in my class know that if I get a little distracted, I might just forget which question to ask you and maybe asking the wrong question. Okay. So that's one.
I think that's a fair point, yeah.
Yeah. Well, where was I? I've lost my.
Shoot kar rahe hain. They're not listening to you, ma'am. They're all using their phones happily.
Okay. So first, mobile phone switched off. Questions will be addressed, a few of them that you've already submitted at the registration. Okay. And maybe there will be one lucky person at the end of it if you are able to finish this on time. And I think they've just got the taste of Bangalore traffic and spent 3 hours coming here. And
yeah, we were supposed to start at 2, I believe.
Yeah, even earlier.
Yeah. No, the first we were supposed to start at 12. Sorry. No, I must confess and also apologize because because of the work happening, Advait and I, have been working around the clock. So today I went to sleep at 6, and I had to wake up at 7 so that I could make it.
Yeah.
But no, but I didn't make it. So I got up late. So that's where the problem started. I got only 1 hour of sleep, but then finally, and then of course, Bangalore traffic helped us further to delay it more. So
So
my apologies, sincere apologies.
I think this panel will be worth that, Aamir. Thank you. So we go first round of this panel discussion. Start with Aamir. Aamir, your name is synonymous with versatility and excellence. In a career spanning 30 years, and I must confess, I did some research, with not counting the fact that there was 10 years after a child artist role.
Yeah. I also wouldn't count that.
Yeah, okay. What does it take to actually remain consistently excellent? The military phrase, sweat in peace, bleed less in war. Is that somewhat kind of true in your case?
So what is the last thing you said?
Sweat in peace, bleed less in war. So there's never a time really when you're not prepared, and you're actually over prepared during peace times, so that when there is war, it just gets easier on you.
No, actually, I'm not like that. I'm very chaotic. I often feel I'm not prepared. I often feel but what you were saying earlier was very interesting to me, and I'll try and respond to you with that in mind as well. I feel that, when we look at management or creative things, we look at them as separate things, But in my life, I have realized that everything is the same. So as a creative person, if you ask me what's your biggest challenge, it's not getting the creative right. It's the human management. That is our biggest challenge as creators. So the director of the film, often the director of any film, is actually doing people management. And that is the key role that he or she as a director, that you're actually handling people. And I'll explain that in a little more detail. So the director is a person who's actually not acting. Technically, he's not supposed to have written the script. He's not doing the camera work. He's not doing the editing. So what is the director doing? You understand? The director is a narrator of the material. And he is using each and every of these HODs, heads of departments, creative people in their own rights, to get them to do, ouch. Okay. So that is an interesting sound, yeah. I think we'll need some people management skills here also. So usually the director and the creative head of any film is actually trying to get each and every HOD or artist or the person working in the team to give their best. So the director's job is to get the best work out of the actor, best work out of the writer, best work out of the DOP, best work out of all the actors, and the entire. You're actually really handling people's moods. You're handling people's egos. You're handling people's, so that's the main job. And if you can do that well, then the creativity also, it's kind of mixed. You can't separate the two is what I feel. It's all mixed. And a lot of it is human management. In fact, most of it is human management. And I feel that in that, there is one thing that, we were talking a little earlier about this, Vasanti, when we were talking about what happened in COVID. So what I went through in COVID is, in those 2 years, I had a lot of time on hand, and I went through a lot of introspection as a human being. And I think that 1 year that I sat alone and thought has been a remarkable process for me personally. And I think in that 1 year, I have grown a great deal as a person, as a human being. We need to do something about that, yeah? What should we do?
Yeah. Already, I think the head of admin has gone there.
Okay.
So I'm sure it's students.
Can I do anything to help? No, I mean, if we can go out and I don't know.
Oh, that must be.
So, I'll get back to what did I say? I forgot completely. What is it? So in that lockdown, in that 1 year, I actually went through a lot of personal changes on my own, and that made me realize that it is actually the emotional and mental well-being of each one of us, which actually goes into doing good work. It could be any work. So हम लोग का सब ध्यान अभी वहां चले गया.
Yeah.
Should I continue?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Okay. So I was saying that in this last 1 year, I realized a lot about myself, and I realized that if I'm mentally and emotionally more healthy and more stable and more balanced, then actually I'm able to function better, not just in my personal life, but in my professional life as well. So that actually is a very key thing. I think all of us in the creative field or in business and management, I think we should start focusing on our emotional and mental health, being stable, being healthy, being, because then it doesn't matter what's quite a key thing. That's one thing I've learned in this last 1 year. So the mental health, emotional health of my crew, if that's healthy and if they're doing well, then the chances are they'll do great work. And they'll respond to all the things that, they're supposed to in a more healthy way.
So true.
Yeah.
So true. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like he's talking about many of your roles and what you've been discussing, right? Yeah. Interesting. I'm going to just pause, but I want you to come back on the question on how do you sustain careers for 30 years? What does it take? Because all these people are going to have those kinds of careers.
It takes fear. So I'm saying that loosely. Because actually fear is quite a negative term. So we should not feel so happy that fear is propelling us. But it has its uses, As a person, I'm very concerned about the work I do. I'm very concerned that people who watch my work should like it. So that insecurity and fear in me that, yaar, किसी को मेरा काम पसंद नहीं आएगा. That drives me. I don't want anyone to see a weaker moment of mine as an actor. I don't want that to be seen. And I know I have my weaknesses. All of us do. And it is that moment when I'm actually trying to do my best. I'll give an example. It's quite recent and I'm not sure I should say it actually, but I might as well. So, the whole process of filmmaking is very tiring and all of that. And I remember we had a screening in Hyderabad, which Chiranjeevi Garu had organized, and there was Rajamouli there, there was Sukumar, and Nag was there. And Rajamouli gave me a reaction. They all liked the film and all that. And he gave me one reaction about my performance. It was a very important reaction he gave me, where he was being critical about my performance. And what he said made a lot of sense to me. So I went and I was very tired. I'll be very honest. I was feeling that, it's not bad. I think I've done well. The film is almost ready. A lot of people are liking it also. This person has said something to me, and what he's saying is making sense, and maybe I should try and improve it. But we're very close to release. The copy is out. There's a lot of stress about it's no time to redo things. There is no time to redo things. Absolutely no time to redo things, because we're giving the copy is going today. It's like 4 days before the release across the world. But after 2 days of saying to myself that, I think it's all right. We don't need to worry. After 2 days, that nagging thing to stop me. So after 2 days, I was like, you know what? I called up Aditya and said, Advait, I want to redo my entire voiceover, which is in the whole film, by the way. It's a major part of the film. And in that last moment, I decided, Advait and I said, we discussed it and we said, okay, let's go for it. We'll do it once again. So I did my entire voiceover again because somebody gave me an important response, which I felt was right. The energy that it took out of me to actually get up and do it once again, because you already finished it. It's very tiring. So I was feeling very tired. I was feeling like, oh man, I have to start all over again. And for the first 3 days, I didn't have that strength to do it. But somehow that fear made me feel that, no, I don't want to leave any stone unturned here. So I got up and I said, let's do it. And we did it. Now, this is the best way I can answer it.
Absolutely.
I could have slept and we could have had this release in the same way. And I'm not quite sure what I did was better or not, because remember, it's a creative field.
Correct. So true.
So maybe I've messed it up, or, but so when you're asking what keeps you going, I'm saying it's the desire to do better. It's the desire to show a better side of yourself. It's a desire to entertain people in a way that you really touch their hearts. And you, as a creative person, it gives you great joy. When you see someone's face and you see his eyes tearing up watching your film, it's a great moment. When the person laughs full-heartedly and you watch them laughing, it gives you great joy as a creative person. This is why we're working. This is why we make films and stories, to reach your hearts. And when we see that happening, that gives us great joy. So I think the desire and I think when you're excited about something, like, when we shot 3 Idiots over here, that's what you were saying. When you do something you love, you then do it well, and then you do it with a lot of passion, and then all of that comes with it, hard work and everything.
So true. Aamir, I could not agree more with you. On a panel that I was hosting with several business leaders, very interestingly, they spoke exactly about this. What kept them going over 20 years, doing bigger things, greater things. They spoke about this consistent fear that you would become irrelevant.
Yes, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, I constantly think of that because I'm 57 now. तुम लोग तो खुश हो गए यार. But so I, in my head, I'm still 18. I'm quite clear about that. So that doesn't worry me. But the practical side of it is, I know I'm not 18, I am 57, and you guys are young, and you all have your own preferences, you'll have your what excites you. And I may not be relevant to you anymore. That thought often occurs to me, that why would a 16-year-old be interested in what I'm having to offer? So that awareness is also there. And I must tell you that one of the things that I thought of early in my career is that I must do films every now and then for children. Every now and then I must do a film for children. Because when a 5-year-old likes you, he or she remains loyal and loves you for the next 15, 20 years. So as an actor, every 4-5 years, if you do a film for children, and 5-year-olds get excited. So every generation is connecting with you. Every generation is connecting with you from a very young age. So that is one of the things I thought of. It's not always possible to do, because it might be like, okay, now there's 5 years, now it's time for a children's film. But you're not excited by the scripts that are being offered. So a lot of it is you play it by ear. But like in general, I had thought that I must do, for example, a children's film every 5-6 years to remain relevant to a younger audience. Yeah.
So true. I'm just kind of wrapping up, because there are just multiple nuances to what Aamir said just now. But I think one important key takeaway for each one of you is, you are just beginning your careers, and that's 30 years at least of careers. How do you stay relevant? And the second one, I hope you picked it up. When you leave the campus, there is a large amount of comparison. The next 10 years of your life, you're comparing your work with others. But after that, there'll be a stage where there is nobody other than you with whom you can compare yourself. And I think that personal excellence piece. Yeah. Thanks, Aamir. Thanks. That was really helpful. And it comes out in ways, I think I remember that after campus, it's only things like this that you take away. I mean, there are tons of us professors. We'd like to believe we are great. But having said that, whether people remember us is a different story.
No, on the contrary, I think teachers and professors are actually doing one of the most important jobs in society. Most important jobs. And I'd like to believe that in some little way, even creative people are part of that band. Because creative people are the people who influence us as audiences in many ways. I've grown up reading books, listening to music, watching films, and all of these people who have created all of this material have shaped my thinking from childhood, like teachers do. And I really feel that teachers are so important, because if you have a bad engineer, you'll have a bridge or something collapse. But But if you have a bad teacher, you'll have generations destroyed, huh? One after the other.
So true.
That's dangerous,
So
you
true.
know. So teaching is a very important job.
Thank you. I'm now going to move to Mona.
Yes.
Mona, one of the things, again, when I was looking up, one of the things that really struck me was how effortlessly you've transitioned from television to films to OTT. She is also such a versatile anchor. I mean, I was watching some of your YouTube videos just to familiarize myself. And one of the things, and I love the fact that you're here with us as someone, a woman who inspires the next generation of women today. What would you say are the qualities that are needed for you to make this transition? And what was your most difficult transition?
Oh, thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm very excited to be here in IIM. Thank you for having me here. Thank you. The thing is, when I was in college, I was very clear about one thought, one career choice, which was acting. And I told my parents about it. My parents were like, but beta, we don't know anybody in the industry. There's no one from our family who comes from this industry who can help you with any contacts or whatever. So you have to do this on your own. But before you do that, you have to finish your graduation. My dad was very clear about that. So I did finish. I started coming to Bombay. I gave all the auditions. I got Jussie. But then But then after I did Jussie, I realized that, I need to do something different now. Because if I get, carried away in these soaps, daily soaps, people will always compare any other soap to Jussie, which will not be as big as Jussie, because that's it. That show was a dream show. So I thought, what is something else that I can do where people don't forget me and yet I still am in the industry. And I took up hosting. It was not my style at all. I thought I'm not the kind of person who can be formal and be on stage and say, hello, good evening. So I adapted my own style. I wanted to be myself. I was as free as possible. I was dancing with the judges, with the contestants. And then people later started saying, Acha, you must host the show, but host it like Mona Singh. So I was like, oh, that's not bad. And then, of course, after hosting several shows, I thought, why not try theater? So I think I am still here because I wanted to keep taking risks of trying something new. Whether you fail or you succeed doesn't matter. At least you tried. So that's always been my motto in life. And I've always had just plan A. And I stuck to my plan A, which was acting. And I never doubted that plan. So if you make up your mind to do something in life, just stick to that. Because, where people say, oh, this is impossible, you got to believe it is possible to make the impossible possible. So just do it. Go out there, believe in yourself, and just have the courage to do it.
Which was your most difficult transition?
Transition, I feel the most difficult part was to I never really looked at cinema in a way that, I have to go all out and be a part of it. I just thought acting in various platforms is good enough for me. But cinema has come to me so organically with Three Idiots without me doing anything. Raju sir saw me in America and he's like, I'm casting you. I was like, okay. Then with Aamir sir, I had to go for that audition of Lal Singh Chadda. I happily went. Yes, I was very nervous because I'm very bad at auditions. And I was telling sir that I am not good. When we start shooting, maybe then, I explore and experience whatever is happening on set. But audition is just that first 10 minutes you get to express the character. It's very tough. And then sir called me after seeing that audition and said, Mona, welcome on board. We're shooting. I was like, oh my God. So Lal Singh Chadda role has been the most difficult one so far.
She is absolutely standing in the film. Outstanding.
Thank
He
you.
has just hit the ball out of the park in this. I mean, as a producer, I feel so happy. I was telling Advait the other day, yaar, hum log ko was telling Kiran also that AKP, whenever we produce films, we have to make sure there's a role for Mona so that we all have a good time making the
Oh,
film.
thank you.
She's such a joy to work with and so wonderful.
I never wanted the movie to get over. I was telling Advait and Aamir sir, I was like, why have you stopped shooting? You know, let's just continue it like an ongoing series. And they were like, Mona, shut up. It's a movie. I was like, okay. But I had so much fun. Thank you.
Yeah, I think there's something that she said, which again, I want to leave with you. Talent speaks.
Yeah.
It doesn't need a spokesperson.
She's so good that, I mean,
Yeah.
I think whether it's 3 Idiots or whether it's Lal, and hopefully in the future, when you have a solid, very talented actor, so she tells us, she was telling us just now, okay, it takes me time, 10 minutes kam padte hain and all that. 1 second mein ghusti hai wo character mein, 1 second mein. She's damn good. I take time. She goes in much more smoothly. Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Hey, I'm now going to come to Chaitanya. Everybody calls you Chai, is it? And this is something that I've been thinking about, which is that you come from the first family of Telugu cinema. Okay. And each one of your family is an iconic person there. What does it actually mean, Chaitanya, to come from that kind of a family? Because I'm sure there is such incredible pressure on you, right? At one level, people may often see your networks, but what they may not see is what it takes to carve out for yourself an identity that is unique, distinctive, that people can relate to you. And what has this journey been like?
Firstly, very good evening to everyone here. I mean, it's an absolute pleasure being here. On my way here, I was looking up some YouTube videos on IIM Bangalore, and the stuff that popped up was what it takes to be in a college like this. And the process you have to go through. I was thinking to myself, me back in college, there's no way I could have gone through that. So really, really nice to be here amongst all you super minds. Well, yeah, coming from, I'm the third generation in the family. Of course, initially it was a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure, but also it comes with a lot of advantages. I looked at it as a great responsibility, and it's an opportunity that not many people get, and I'm really, really fortunate for that. So I thought it's best to make use of it to my advantage and use it as a tool. What I always noticed is every generation was very unique to themselves. Although a lot of information and a lot of learning was passed on from generation to generation, my dad was very unique to his times, very unique to the trends that were there during his time. So he adapted that and made that very unique to himself. So I think that's the key thing, to be dynamic. Trends keep changing, the present keeps changing, but emotions are always constant. So sort of learn and be aware. It's very easy to, a lot of people will tell you to sort of watch old films and, gather a library of films to learn from. Of course, it is key to watch those films and learn from them, but it's also very key to be aware of the present scenario so you can adapt that and make that your uniqueness. So yeah, that's sort of the process I learned from.
What has been working like? I mean, a lot of your work has been in Telugu cinema. What does it mean in terms of transitioning to working in Bollywood? And you can be quite candid.
You can be rest assured. All of them just keep kicking me on my ass all the time. He's going to be candid.
No. I think transitioning.
No punches are held back.
Transitioning to Bollywood, well, fortunately for me, well, to start off with, my Hindi is very bad. So when Aamir sir asked me, Aamir sir and Advait reached out for this film, that was my first fear. But fortunately, also the pandemic happened. So I had the script, I think, about 6 months in advance. So went through a lot of workshops, a lot of rehearsals with Advait and Aamir sir. So that process really helped me. transitioning into Bollywood, I'm still waiting for that answer on the 11th of August on how that transition is going to be. So yeah, but it's been an absolute pleasure.
I think one of the interesting things that he spoke about was having the script and working on it for 6 months. Yeah. And that I think is a lot of effort, right? I mean, and I am just imagining myself as an audience. They are really harsh on you. Yeah. I'm just having one of those moments of reflection. We walk out and just say, ha, the kind of a thing. But what it takes in terms of the work that goes behind it, I think is something just for us to kind of think about. Yeah. Great. Great. In the interest, I just have to check what's the time like. How much do we have? Another 20 minutes? Old. Yeah, yeah. Why not? I think I will look at, maybe we have a couple of questions also, right? From the students. Okay. So maybe we'll take this as one round of questions. And are there any questions there particularly appealing?
Sure, sure. Why don't we take the questions from the students? Yeah.
So let us now hear what our students have to ask. So the first question we have for Aamir sir. So sir, everyone knows your motto of all is well from the movie Three Idiots. So how often in your professional life do you use the phrase all is well?
Actually, we use it quite often. And we didn't have a term for it until Raju made the film. So all is well is used by not only people from the film industry, but I'm sure from different walks of life. When you're faced with a situation which is not in your control, you're very stressed, you don't know what to do, and then you're just waiting to see what happens, and you say, all will be well. So I go through that every day almost, because filmmaking is like any other profession, is very challenging, and yeah.
So there's another question for Mr. Aamir Khan. What is your usual decision-making process before selecting a script? How can that be related to and used by business managers?
Oh, okay. Oh, well, let me just tell you how I select the scripts. Then y'all can figure out whether it applies to you or not. So essentially, see what I feel is that when I'm listening to a story, a script, I am the audience. I'm exactly like how you are when you're watching a film, or how all of us are when we're watching a film. That's the first time I'm experiencing something, a story, something creative. So I like to be an audience, and I like to be in touch with what I'm feeling. So when I'm listening to a script, I don't like to second guess and imagine this sequence mein, how will the audience react? In this moment, how will the audience react? Will the audience like this? Will the audience like that? I never consider that. Never. I only consider whether that material appeals to me personally. Because the fact is that I can never guess what an audience will want. I can never go into the minds of an audience. But I do know what I want and what I don't like and what I like. So the best I can do is go with my own instinct, go with my own decisions, and then hope that the audience likes it. That way, at least one person will be satisfied. Me. Even that might not be if I don't like the film. But my process is that when I'm listening to a script, I just allow it. I allow it to just come to me the way it's coming. And if it grabs me, if it emotionally moves me, if it excites me, if it engages me in a very deep way, and I get attracted to it as a person just listening to a story, then by the end of it, I know I want to be a part of this. And it's as simple as that. Kahani achhi lagi, mujhe karni hai. I don't think beyond that. And after I've decided that I want to do it, because there is a business aspect to it. There is a, economics of filmmaking attached to it. So first I go with my creative instinct to decide I want to do it. Once I've decided I want to do it, then depending on what kind of film it is, I make sure that the economics of that is designed and planned with that in mind. So when we're making a film like Tare Zameen Par, when I hear the script, I want to do it. So I say yes. The next meeting, I decide that, look, let's look at the film. The potential of this film is probably to do a business of maybe 20 crores, 25 crores. It's a small film. So we must make it in 5 crores. How do we make it in 5 crores? We have to now budget that. So that comes the practical side of me. So in the decision making, I'm not practical. I go with my heart. But when we're actually executing, then I make sure that I don't make any, decisions which will go against the film. Like I don't want to spend 80 crores, 90 crores on a film which I'm expecting to do not more than 20, 25 crores. So often we go wrong. We are not successful because we've budgeted the film wrong. Because a particular kind of film has a certain potential, is going to do 100 rupees. If you're going to spend 50 rupees on it, you're going to make 50 rupees. You're going to spend 150 rupees on it, you're going to lose 50 rupees. It's still going to make that 100 rupees. So that understanding that you need to have, that judgment that you need to have, all the thinking part of it comes in later. So my decision of which film to do is instinctive, but how to do it is very thought out. There's a lot of planning in that,
I just want to leave a learning from what he's saying, which is all decision making is not rational. And I think as leaders and business executives, many times our rationality overtakes what intuitively is something that we know is the right thing to do. Yeah. And that's kind of interesting because we start at the other end of the spectrum in terms of rational decision-making analysis.
No, I'll give him, what you're saying is so true. I'll give an example to illustrate that. In fact, Tare Zameen Par. So, sorry, what were you saying? I was connecting a connection from there. If I think rationally on Tare Zameen Par, then I will not make the film only. If I think rationally, I'll not make the film because my good sense will tell me that here is a film about dyslexia. It's a learning disability. Who knows about it? Probably very less people in India. Who's interested about it? Even less. So it's about a little child. How many people are going to come to see a film about a small child? My role is, comes in the second half. So all the logical and rationale will tell you not to do the film. It will tell you the opposite actually. Lagan. I have a chartered accountant. His name is Bimal Parekh. He's a very important person in my life. He is very rational. So he is very logical. Very logical. So all of the films that you'll have seen and, which have become successful, starting from, all my earlier films as well, even if you take Lagan, Dil Chahta Hai, in the last 20 years, what I've done, Bimal told me, don't do Lagan. I did it. He told me, don't do Sarfarosh. I did it. He told me, don't do Dil Chahta Hai. I did it. He's still my CA. No, he's a very important person in my life. Because whenever I have to decide and I'm confused, that should I do it or not, I ask him. He says, don't do it, I do it. So, rationale sometimes can throw you off.
Yeah.
And often, actually, our minds, we call it our hearts, but actually it's our minds. We say our heart instinctively decided this. Actually, it's your mind which is deciding it. And when we use the word instinctive, it somehow makes a very magical space. कि पता नहीं कुछ घंटी बजी और मैंने ये चुन लिया. वो actually ऐसा घंटी नहीं बजती. Over the years, your intelligence, your experiences, your interactions have taught you a lot of things. Now, a lot of it is saved by you, and all of that comes to the fore in a nanosecond to you. And your brain computes all of that, and your brain makes you feel that your heart is feeling that I want to do this. But actually, your brain has actually quickly computed that. And it makes you feel that haan, meko ye karna hai. So that's one thing. And the other thing I want to tell you is that all of us are sometimes scared. We like something. I loved Tare Zameen Par. I wanted to do it. But it is scary. What are you doing? I'm doing a small film. What have you done last? Some big super hit film I've done. I forget which one it was. But when you've done 3-4 films which are successes, and then people ask you, what are you doing next? I'm doing a small film about a child. It's not a very smart thing to say, because the market wants you to have the next film to be bigger than your previous. And what are you telling them? My next film is going to be about 10 times smaller than my previous one. Yeah. What logic is there in that? What logic is there in that? मेरी अगली फिल्म ना 10 गुना कम कमाने वाली है. मैं सामने से बोल रहा हूँ आपको. और फिर भी मुझे वो करना है. So what I'm trying to point out is that a lot of times, no matter which profession we are in, something gives us joy. Something makes us feel like wanting to do that. And we must stop and give it that value. That feeling is a very important feeling. We should not disregard it. When your heart is wanting you to do something, you're going to get a lot of joy out of it. And that value cannot be controlled, counted in money. Can't be counted in money. So you should give a lot of value to what gives you happiness, not just money. So, when we say about earning, a lot of times we say, I want to, of course you should earn. But sometimes you should think, should I be earning money or should I be earning something else? The same CA of mine, my chartered accountant, when I did Satyam Vijayate, he almost had a cardiac arrest. Because when I did Satyam Vijayate, I stopped doing films. I could not do any films. Plus, I was doing around 5 endorsements that time. And they were quite, I'm quite a well-paid endorser, if I may say so myself. तो क्या हुआ मैंने उसको एक दिन फोन किया मैं बोला मैं ये शो कर रहा हूँ और अभी मेरे को टीवी पे आई डोंट वांट टू बी सेलिंग एनीथिंग बिकॉज आई डोंट फील राइट इफ आई एम टेलिंग यू अबाउट अ वेरी sensitive topic. I don't want you to next half an hour see me selling any product. It could be, and I was endorsing all very good products. So I told Bimal, I don't feel comfortable. He said, what is the logic? I said, there is no logic. It's my heart telling me that I don't want to do ads. So he said, you're going to lose so much money. Are you aware how much money you're going to lose? I said, are you aware what I'm going to gain? Which is not money. But I'm going to gain a lot. Can't you see that? I'm going to learn so much. I'm going to meet so many interesting people. So for me, it was a crystal clear thing. In those 4 years, I have lost. I could have earned 4 times what I earned. A lot of people I know on social media, they say Aamir Khan earned a lot through Satyam Vijayate. They should talk to Bimal Parikh sometime. Itni gaaliyan dega wo. He was so upset with me because I lost a lot of money. But I did gain. So I keep trying to tell Bimal that don't you see what I gained? Yes, of course I can see I lost the money. But can't you see what I gained? So we need to see what is there to gain. When we say that I want to earn, our mind immediately goes to I want to earn money. You want to earn, but you may want to earn something else. It may not be money. Think about what you want. Because all of you guys are very smart. You'll probably get what you want. So be careful about what you choose, what you want.
Yeah, so true, so true. And the interesting thing is what you want is often what you can see, and what you are getting is often tangible. And what you actually want might be so intangible. Respect, love, just being someone who can connect with people.
No, and doing something you feel like doing.
Feel like doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Is there one question for Chaitanya and one for Mona? And then we can go with the last question. Okay.
So the next question is for Naga Chaitanya, sir. You have ventured into food business recently. So the question is, what motivated you to start the venture while continuing to be a full-time actor?
We all have these hobbies that I'm sure all of us chase apart from our work life. So for me, food is that. And fortunately for me as an actor, acting takes me to different places, different parts of the world. And food always tells me a specific story. So I wanted to bring that experience back. And yeah, that's where the idea started from. And personally for me, I love starting something, seeing the midway and seeing the finished product. I love that process, that wholesome process. With films, it takes a long time. It takes 6 months to a year. So food was something that gave me that immediate satisfaction also. You create something and you churn it out and you get the product out in a month or 2, and you get to be dynamic also with it. Someone doesn't like it, you change it, you can tweak it. So yeah, so that's where it started from.
Do you also cook? No, okay.
So the next question is for Miss Mona Singh. This is an interesting one.
Sorry?
This is an interesting one.
Oh.
So you have been brilliant over various roles. If there was one role played by someone else, which you wish you had done, which one would that be?
Played by someone else.
Yes.
Which I wish Oh, there are many. I'm very jealous of good movies which I'm not a part of. There are many. I was thinking of Gully Boy. I was thinking of Tare Zameen Par. Even Lagan, where there was Gracie. I was so jealous. I was like, "Arey, I'm also from TV. Mujhe nahi liya." Yeah. When I see good work, I want to be a part of it. Always.
Are we okay? Yeah, good. So is there one intelligent question from the audience? Oh, okay, I see your hand first. So
Sure. Mhm.
We see this array of platforms coming in, but you also experience going to a theater to watch it. What is your take? Because I asked this question more to you as a producer, more than an actor. How do you look at the movie business and where do you see the opportunity? What number do you say that?
What number?
If you look for like is it like the number of screens or to reach more people or more what the ticket size
Per seat. Yeah. Can you just repeat your question? There were many parts. There were many parts to it, so I just want to get it right. Huh.
good.
Yeah. So, I'm not quite sure. I'm kind of lost in my own world half the time, so I don't know what is happening, to be honest. But I have been thinking about this, what you've been saying, and a lot of people ask me also OTT baby. A lot of people are watching on OTT. Since COVID, people have, not been going back to the theaters like they were. That's a general impression that we have, not just in India, world over. People's theater attendance has gone down slightly as compared to before COVID. So maybe there's a change in habits. Maybe there's a change. People are now comfortable watching material and creative stuff at home on various OTT platforms. And I think that's good. I mean, actually, for me, the platform doesn't matter. That's why I'm getting confused by a question. Because if I'm a creative person and I'm telling you a story, if I tell it to you in a film or if I tell it to you on some platform, as far as I'm concerned, I'm still doing the same thing. If you know what I'm trying to say. My creative process is exactly the same. I'm telling you a story. I'm, hopefully manipulating your emotions in a manner that you yourself enjoy that manipulation. And you feel satisfied. So that you can do on a platform, you can do that in a film, you can do that on a theater stage, you can do that in a play. So for the creative people, I think for me, the platform is not so relevant. In fact, I would go so far as to say that the material will decide which platform I'm going to make it on. So if it's long content, I would like to do it for an OTT. If it's, just one piece, I'd like to do it for cinema. But increasingly, that is becoming a challenge. And I think one of the reasons I feel, and I've been saying it to a lot of my colleagues and friends in the film industry, is that over the months and years, in the last few years, there's this thing that is happening is that films release in theaters, and then earlier it used to be 6 months, and then they come on OTT. Then it became 3 months, then it became 2 months. Now it's become 4 weeks. So in a sense, what the film industry and the cinema world, which includes theaters and distribution and production, what they're telling the audience is that actually don't bother to come. Within 4 weeks, they're coming to your house. How can you expect your business to be good after that? The person who's excited to consume your content is being told, stay at home, we're coming in 4 weeks. Very bad business move. Very disastrous business move. One of the reasons the numbers are falling is that until film producers in all languages realize, and until filmmakers and creative people, if they don't give value to the work that they have done, nobody else will. If you don't give value to the work you've done, nobody else will. So if you as a film person feel that you would like people to come to the cinema and watch it, then you should have the strength and the resilience to say that whether my film does well or not, whether I stand to gain or not, irrespective, once my film comes in the theaters, it will not come on OTT for the next 6 months. And then as an audience, all of us, including me, will have to choose. Do I wait 6 months and watch this film on OTT? Or do I want to go now and watch it? And that, I think, will change the scenario. That's one of the things. Actually, it's quite complex. It's many layers. I've just told you the main one. But in the overall thing, I feel it's good. Because OTT platforms have given so much work to talent. Actors, directors, writers from different parts of the country are now getting opportunities to work. So that's wonderful. I don't see it as a problem.
Okay, one last quick fire round. One life motto that you think worked for you that you can offer for the students?
I think for me, it's just being very aware and being grounded. These two have always kept me going.
I think for me, it's always been to keep moving. You know, if you like, I had read this beautiful quote, if you can't run, you walk. You can't walk, you crawl, but you bloody keep moving in life.
I don't have any mottos, yeah. I'm afraid. No, all is well, yeah. I don't have. I think the only thing I try to keep in my life is that whenever I meet anyone, I'm meeting you all now, friends, family, for the first time I'm meeting people, I only keep one thing in mind: try not to hurt people's feelings. That's the one thing my mom has taught me, and that's been a big influence on me from a very young age. So I'm very sensitive about, hurting someone's feelings. So I try not to do that. But sometimes it still happens.
Yeah.
You want a dialogue from Three Idiots? First of all, I have a very bad memory. But about films, I have a very good memory. And I remember exactly where I was sitting when we were shooting the sequence. On the third last row or the fourth last row on the aisle, this side of the aisle. So where those bunch of people are sitting. That's where we were sitting for this scene, that Chamatkar scene. Which line do you want to know? Which dialogue? What boring line है यार? इतना अच्छा गुड लाइन्स तुम लोग को चाहिए? थोड़ा रांटी लाइन नहीं चाहिए कोई? हाँ? कौन सी? Thank you.
What a time.
Oh, actually, I've forgotten all my lines. Yeah. वो रंगे में सही थी ना? एक पाँव पास्ट में और एक पाँव फ्यूचर में, इसलिए हम आज पे what is the line over there? नाक बीच में नहीं आती. नाक बीच में नहीं आती.
Yeah. That was our scene where Sharman come into the bedroom and I get up and you're like, "Arey, ye kaun hai?" And then Kareena tells you, "You're my sister and she's pregnant." And I tell sir, "Arey, kiss karo ise buddhu, naak beech mein nahi aati hai."
My turn. Which line you're going to say? I'm very bad at lines. Huh? Huh? जहां पना तो सिगरेट नहीं. कोई इंटरेस्टिंग लाइन हम क्या लाइन थी वो काबिल वाली है. एक महापुरुष ने कहा है ना, ऐसे कुछ बोलता हूं मैं शर्मन को. एक महापुरुष ने कहा है, एक बहुत बड़े महापुरुष ने कहा है कि सक्सेस के पीछे मत दौड़ो. खुद बोल गया हूं मैं. सक्सेस के पीछे मत दौड़ो, एक्सीलेंट बनो, काबिल बनो. और काबिल बनो और कामयाबी झक मार के पीछे तुम्हारे भागेगी. इतना लाइफ में बुरा नहीं बोला मैंने लाइन.
Thank you.
But actually what happens to me is that when I move away from the character, it becomes very difficult for me to go back in there. तो अभी rancho में बन नहीं पाऊंगा. I can say a line from Lal Singh if you want, because ਉਹ ਮੇਰੀ ਮੰਮੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਗੋਲਗੱਪੇ ਜੈਸੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ पेट पले ही पर जावे मन नहीं पड़ता. He's a very gentle kind of a guy, you know.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And just as a wrap up, in a minute, no more, 3 key takeaways that I could leave for you. The first one, try something new, make something unique about you. What you do with it is how you shape yourself. Thanks, Chaitanya, for that. Really appreciate that. Be focused on what you want and you will get it. Thank you, Mona. Be intuitive, personal excellence, but above all, fear and insecurity will continue to drive personal excellence. Thank you so much. And on that note, over to you.
Thank you guys, that was lovely.
Audience, kindly
Sit down.
sit down.
Please, everyone sit
I
down.
really hope you like the film we've made, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I really hope.
Please sit down because there is a formal thank you, right? Yeah. Okay. Please, let's sit down. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Yes.
requesting the audience to kindly sit down, please.
Ma'am, 1 minute.
तपन गाड़ी में बैठे तपन गाड़ी में बैठे
Change and then leave, na? 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
No one.
They will close it. Keeping and the money.